This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting the session. I request all of you to please mute your microphone, please. So once again, good morning. So today we have Dr. Abhay Jere with us, who will be taking us through this session. Since August 2018, Dr. Abhay Jere is the Chief Innovation Officer for Ministry of HRD. See, request all of you to please mute your microphone, please.
The organizer can actually mute everybody from your side.
See, if I'm muting, I'll be muting everybody.
No, you can mute one person separately, like unmute one person separately. The presenter.
Pran, who's Pran? He's not muting his phone, please.
You can unmute only the presenter and mute everyone else.
Thank you, everyone. So today we have Dr. Abhay Jere with us.
Anubaji, you need to mute your microphone, not your speaker.
Can you just go? Can you leave the session? Remove Basantan immediately. Remove Basantan immediately.
Why, sir?
Sir, please.
Why you're not muting the muting in the on the session? Why you're disturbing so much?
I am not doing anything, sir.
Please mute.
What, sir?
Please mute yourself.
Thank you. So let us continue with the session. See, today we have Dr. Abhay Jere with us to take us through the session. Since August 2018, Dr. Abhay Jere is the Chief Innovation Officer for Ministry of HRD, Government of India. Before joining Ministry, Dr. Jere worked as Chief Scientist, Life Sciences and R&D Head of Persistent Systems Limited. He is also the brain and driving force behind annual initiative Smart India Hackathon, which has now evolved as world's biggest hackathon and largest open innovation model. His efforts have established hackathon culture in India. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has personally applauded these initiatives and last year even proposed India-Singapore joint hackathon, which was even executed by Dr. Jere. Dr. Jere is instrumental in contemplation, first of its kind, Atal Innovation Ranking Framework, ARIIA, for ranking all India education institutions in India on their innovation achievements. Honorable President of India announced the first edition of ARIIA ranking in April 2019. To guide education institutions for establishing innovation ecosystem, Dr. Jere conceptualized Institutions Innovation Councils. Currently, IIC has been established in more than 1,600 institutions involving 20 plus lakh students and 1 plus lakh faculty and professionals. Dr. Jere designed National Innovation and Startup Policy for Faculty and Students 2019 to help enable students and faculty of their higher education institutions to work on their innovation, startup, and enterprises. Dr. Jere is committed to popularize need of innovation and entrepreneurship amongst Indians. Hence, he routinely writes columns in renowned English and vernacular magazines also, newspapers and magazines also. He has also conceived India's first leadership talk series, which is telecasted on DD and Lok Sabha TV. Recently, Dr. Jere has conceptualized training program to convert 6,000 college faculty from across India into innovation ambassadors. Dr. Jere is also a very active scientist in the field of biology and bioinformatics, having worked in the US, Japan, and Europe. He is the main brain behind Human Atlas Initiative Manav and currently its national coordinator. He has worked in cutting edge areas such as vaccines, personalized medicine, and personalized genomics. As principal investigator, Dr. Jere has received multiple research grants from prestigious government funding agencies like CSIR, DBT, etc. Dr. Jere has published more than 20 research papers in the very prestigious international journals and contributed to multiple book chapters. He also guides students for their thesis. Dr. Jere completed his PhD from National AIDS Research Institute, Pune. Dr. Jere received multiple awards like Digital Thought Leadership Award by World Assessment Council, Boston, USA, Distinguished Alumni Award by ICT, Mumbai, and Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Award also. So request Dr. Abhay Jere sir to take over, please. Sir, Abhay sir.
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
So
You
Sandhya
can-
ji, thank you very much for your
Thank you,
very
sir.
elaborate introduction. I am really would like to thank Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to your stakeholders. And I see quite good number of audience, about 136, which are currently there. 137 now, it has increased. For joining this session, I really welcome you all, and I'm very thankful that you all have spared time. You can certainly interact with me during this session. We can have question and answers. I don't think I will be talking for 2.5 hours. So I will be talking to about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I would like to get more into dialogue rather than a monologue. Online monologues are pretty boring when it comes to online sessions. Okay, so so I will talk about first about my role, what I'm doing, and then we will explore how MSME as well as education sector can help support and benefit each other. Because as Chief Innovation Officer for MHRD, my mandate is currently to work with all educational institutes and ensure please somebody please go on mute. And my mandate is to ensure that how we can create innovation culture within our educational institutes. And for that, we are taking multiple steps, and we have done some phenomenal, we have got some phenomenal achievements. But for us, it's very, very critical that all these youngsters which we are creating or producing out of our educational institute should be very, very relevant to our MSME sector, because they are one of the biggest contributors in Indian economy. So when we started working on this, so this cell, I would say, innovation cell was established about a year and a half back. And I am the first Chief Innovation Officer for Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. And it started because of Smart India Hackathon initiative, which we are doing. And the primary focus for getting into all these kind of activities is, as you know, our education system, which is not so great. It's more of swallow and vomit kind of an education system. It's just driven by marks. It's just driven by grades, which is not creating a very, very healthy environment. So recently, couple of years back, and even the second study was also done, and we will be publishing the results. It was done with Stanford University. And what we did was that we compared our 5,000 engineers, which we are producing, with engineers from China and engineers from Russia. And when we look at these engineers, we realized that the quality of our engineers is pretty bad when it comes to problem solving. So Chinese engineers and Russian engineers were far, far better when it came to problem solving skills, and we realized that we really need to do something about it. You must have also read a lot of studies which are talking about employability potential of our technical students. I request all people to please go on mute. It is extremely disturbing. Okay, so sorry for this. Can you all hear me? Okay, I think you can hear me because I just got a message saying that the connection is weak. That's the reason I asked. So we felt that we need to do something to improve about the quality of engineers. And as I was talking about employability, there are large number of reports which are already published, which says that 60% of our technical youth, which we are producing, is not employable. It means that only 40%, and that's a very generous figure. If you really look at some other reports, it can go as high as 70 or 75. So it means that the students or the engineers or technocrats which we are generating out of our institute, about 25 to 30%, max 40%, are worth employing. It means 60% are not employable. So we said that we need to do something about that. And this is, I'm talking for technical education. At any given time point in India, we have 80 lakh students who are doing technology. 80 lakh means 8 million students who are doing technology across 10,500 plus colleges. If you really look at students in doing higher education, then we have about 3.5 crore students across 40.5 thousand institutions. And if you take collective employability of all these youngsters, then it's as low as 3 to 5%. So we had to do some real good interventions. I don't know how many of you will be aware, but last year we have actually put a draft of new education policy in public domain. We put that draft in July. Once this new government came in, the second NDA after 2019, and we received more than 1.5 lakh suggestions, out of which about 10% suggestions are really good. So these suggestions are very fantastic. And if you really see the new education policy, we are actually trying to break silos of science, commerce, arts. Now you can take mathematics and music together, or fine arts together. So this kind of policy is coming up. It has gone to parliamentary committee for further inputs and evaluation, and I hope it was going to come up before the COVID crisis itself, but then eventually this COVID crisis came, and because of that, it has to wait now. So we hope that in next couple of quarters, the policy will be out and implemented. So this is a very big change in education systems which we are trying to bring. Then another very big initiative which is going to be very, very relevant for MSME is that we have now made internship compulsory for all the technical students. So every year we need to give about 20 lakh interns or internships we need to provide internships to 20 lakh students. Till date, we are successful in giving about 3.5 lakh internships. But where we believe and where we are heavily promoting students is that they should approach MSME sector for internships. And wherever I am going, I am talking to these students that the best thing what they can learn They should not chase big brands like Google, Microsoft, or Tata, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, or maybe Persistent, or maybe TVS, or Marutis. But they should go to MSMEs, because what they can learn in 6 months in an MSME, they will not able to learn in maybe couple of years or more than that in a big institution. So I hope that you will get large number of requests in due course of time once this COVID lockdown is over for students who are keen on getting into MSMEs or getting themselves trained or doing internships in MSME. And I will request you all to accommodate as many students as possible, because we have to give them hands-on training. Lot of theory they know, but as I said, their problem solving skills are extremely bad, and we are really lacking at problem solving skills. And because of problem solving skills are bad, that mindset is not there. All our youngsters are many times part of problems and not part of solution. So we need to create a generation who is ready to offer solutions. Because Prime Minister before this COVID crisis was already talking about $5 trillion economy. Undoubtedly, there is going to be some shrinkage currently. The short-term effects are going to happen. But in long term, if we want to continue that vision of $5 trillion economy, then India has to evolve as knowledge-based society and knowledge-based economy. And if we have to evolve like that, knowledge-based society and economy, then we need to generate ideas, we need to innovate, which will eventually not have just influence within the country, but across the globe. So that is very, very critical, which has to happen. India is now the third largest place for startup activities, undoubtedly. But unfortunately, the rate of success of startups are pretty bad. Maybe 98% of our startups are failing. If you compare this data with Silicon Valley, then in Silicon Valley, about 60% fail, 40% do survive. But in India, 98% are failing. But this is the evolution phase, and I sincerely hope that eventually we will get mature and large number of our startups will actually go ahead and will survive. If you see last year's, about 3 months back, Your Story actually published a very, very interesting report about investments in India in startups. About startups. So in 9 months, that is from from January 1st, 2019 to 31st September 2019, Indian startups raised more than $7.4 billion in just 9 months. It was phenomenal, the amount of money which our startups have raised. But if you really look at the quality of those startups or what they're actually doing, these unicorns, many of them are into e-commerce or they're into logistics. There are no great, what we can say, deep tech startups which are coming up. And if you want to influence world, we have to create deep tech startups which will actually go ahead, move beyond India, just not sell things on internet. So these things are extremely critical. But yes, money is there, ecosystem is there. Now what we require is really good pipeline of ideas. If you look currently, when this startup movement started, Startup India movement started, now in India we have more than 450 incubators. Means what? We have facilities which can help incubate a business. But if you really look into how many of these incubators are utilized to their optimum capability, the answer may be 70% of them are underutilized up to 70%. It means infrastructure is there, but there is no pipeline of startups, great startups, which could be incubated out there. So we have to create great ideas. And if you have to create great ideas, there cannot be a better place than our educational institutes. So if you see US ecosystem, then great ideas are coming from MIT, Caltech, Stanford, Harvard. These are all university systems which are throwing out great ideas. Google came from Stanford, uh, Facebook came from Harvard, and so on and so forth. There are n such stories which are out there. So when Indians institutes will start throwing these kind of great ideas. So if we want to do that, we need to ensure that the culture in these institutes need to be what we can say poshak, which has to be very, very supportive towards innovation and entrepreneurship. So we said we will intervene at 4 different areas. One, we will do a policy intervention. Second, we will get into actual hand holding of institutions, which is extremely critical. Third, we will do competitions like national competitions like Smart India Hackathon, Ideathon, Samadhan, grand challenges. And then we will also measure what we are doing, whether it's helping or not. And I will tell you the reason. I have a few stories about why we got into all these 4 aspects. So when we started talking to large number of professors, deans, of students, they said, sir, we don't have incentive if we do startups. Our institute simply does not acknowledge. I will give you a very good example. It's one from one of the very prestigious IITs. I will not name the IIT, but one student there started a small venture in his hostel. And he used to work at night. He did something related to e-commerce, and he started earning some revenue also out of it. When the director came to know that he has done such startup, director called him and asked that student, where is my share of revenue? He said, sir, where is your share? Why I should give share? He said, the reason you need to give us the royalty or share is because the IP of your business belongs to us, the institute. He said, sir, I have not used any of your facility, institute's facility. Why the IP belongs to you? He said, that's the policy, that if you have used facilities from the institute, the IP belongs to you, and IP belongs to the institute. And you have used institute facility, you have used hostel's internet, which is institute's facility. And because you have used hostel's internet, IP belongs to us. That's very, very ridiculous. So we said we need to do something about it. We will change this. Then when we spoke to a few other professors, they said, sir, if we get into entrepreneurship and if we actually get into revenue generation, the institute asks for 50% share. Even I know few institutes who were asking for 60% share of the revenue. If 50% or 60%, so some institutes were asking for 30%, some institutes were asking for 40%, 50%, 60%. So if 50 or 60% institute, they will take away the revenue. 30% revenue will be taken away by income tax as tax. Then what is there in that person's hand? So there was no really incentive to actually go ahead and do startup or entrepreneurship within the system. So we said we need to change that. So we got the framework which is approved by All India Council for Technical Education and UGC. And that framework talks about multiple things. Who owns the IP? What should be the revenue sharing? What should be the equity sharing? And now we have put caps like max 9.5% you can ask for equity if you are actually investing into it. If you are just giving facilities, not more than 3%. So we have started putting caps on all this. And we have made this policy extremely innovation biased or innovator biased, so that if someone is really going to do that, he gets maximum advantage of it, and large number of students and faculties will get motivated to follow that path. So this was the first intervention which we got. And yesterday we did just a sensitization of that policy 3 days back, and 85,000 people joined our sensitization program. 85,000 people joined this sensitization program. It's a huge success. And now large number of students and faculty have started putting pressure on their managements that they should adopt this policy. Because at the end of the day, all universities and institutes are autonomous bodies. Now, we can give them a guiding framework which is approved by us, but they have to then get it approved in their management council or general body and so on and so forth as per their laws. So now that has started happening. So this was the policy part of it. The second part was handholding. So when we spoke to large number of vice chancellors, directors, and dean, everyone said that entrepreneurship needs to be promoted, innovation needs to be promoted. When we spoke to them in private, they said, yes, we agree this needs to be done, but they were simply not aware how to go about it. Because many of these people, they are very well-meaning people, very good people. But what they realized, but they came from a very, very different background. Some came from sociology background, psychology background, basic sciences background, literature background. And when they become vice chancellors or leaders, then they were suddenly asked, now you should promote innovation and entrepreneurship. And they were simply lost how to go about it. So we said, we will actually help you. We will handhold you. So we started a very innovative initiative. No such initiative exists worldwide, which we are calling as IICs, Institutional Innovation Councils. So we said, we selected about 1,500 institutions, 1,500, and we told them that you do whatever we are telling you. Every month we will give an activity, and you have to do that activity based on our guidelines. And if you do that activity the way we have suggested, then eventually, maybe in a couple of years' time, the entire ecosystem will get established in your organization. Just do what we are trying to tell you. Okay. So we said, okay, now establish a council in your institute. And the council member should be a couple of faculties, few students certainly should be there to organize. But we want a banker who understands profits, balance sheets, and so on and so forth. We want a patent attorney or a lawyer in your vicinity. Then, if possible, we also want an investor who is making pre-angel, angel kind of investments. Then you should have a person with tool room, who is an head of a tool room in your vicinity, because large number of district places or cities have tool rooms in their cities. So someone associated with from the tool room should be part of the council, and one of your alumni who is an entrepreneur. So create a council of these people, and under their guidance and leadership, run the programs which we are telling you. They will understand what we are, why, how, from where we are coming, and they will help you, and just give them all the required facilities to conduct those programs. So when we were just establishing our systems, we started with two very, very minor steps or minor programs, or two very simple programs. So what we said in the first month, just sensitize your faculty, 50% of your faculty and 50% of your students on IPR or patents. I don't know how many of you will be aware, but if you really see the data, coming out from Indian Patent Office. In India, China files about 13.5 lakh patents per year. I am talking about Indian data. China files more than 13 lakh patents per year. US files about 6.5 lakh patents. And India files, Indians means files only 47,000. Out of which 70% are by non-resident Indians. And the primary reason for this is really unawareness or how they should go about all that. So we said that sensitization, it's not that ideas only get generated in US or Europe or China. Good ideas also come here, but people are not systematically handling those good ideas. So we said you need to sensitize 50% of your students and 50% of your faculty on importance of patents and various methodologies involved in the process of filing patent. Not only Indian, but PTC also. So, and we said, please do these 3 or 4 sessions using your local expert, and 2 or 3 sessions we will do centrally using Facebook Live or YouTube Live, where bigger experts or national experts will talk about. So that we said, and it was a very, very successful session. Then next month, so month 2, we told them that you should do a session or a one-day workshop on design thinking, critical thinking. I don't know how many of you have heard about design thinking and critical thinking, but this is very, very important. So first is how to identify a problem. What design thinking tells you? First, how to identify a problem. Once you have identified a problem, how to do 360-degree survey on finding a solution for that problem. What's the best way to visualize a solution? Through empathy, through interactions, in-depth analysis, and so on and so on. It's extremely important for success of the solution. And large number of big companies across the globe are using design thinking to find their solutions. From companies which are working in medical devices like MRIs or X-ray machines to travel agents and everyone which is they are aggressively using design thinking, critical thinking. So it's a very important thing for MSMEs also. And I will request Confederation of Indian Micro and Small Industries to actually explore whether you can put schedule a talk with all the industry people on design thinking and aspects, because these are going to be, design thinking has nothing to do with the design of the product. It's a thinking. It's how to think while you're conceptualizing a product. So please understand, design is nothing to do with the design of your product. So we said that we will train again 50% of our students and 50% of our faculty and sensitize them for design thinking, critical thinking. So once we have done that, once these 2 workshops were done, we said that we will go ahead and ask students to visit 4 institutions. One, a 300-bed hospital or a power plant or an agriculture institute or an university and a food processing unit. And we asked students, said that, boss, just go ahead and sit there for 2 days and just list out the problems which you are seeing. Most important, just list out the problems. And if you can identify the right kind of problems, then you know eventually what kind of solutions will matter to the industry. Where the shoe pinches, the last mile connectivity is extremely critical. So students should collect the problems which they identify. They should come together. Then they should prioritize the problem statements. Once you have prioritized those problems, next month you do an idea competition on those problem statements within the organizations, within your institute. Because if you you must have also gone to large number of engineering colleges or technical colleges, and I don't know how many, in my college it was never there. There was never an idea. There was never an idea competition there. You know, you have Tech Fest where people show their products, their technologies or their projects. But there was never an idea competition where students were asked to think wide. Very important. So within schools also we are promoting that you should go and ask students to think wide. Because who kills great ideas? First is our family, our parents, within at home, don't ask unnecessary questions. And then in school, teachers, they kill good ideas. And that's where the real problem is. So we need to sensitize for them. So we said through all this, go ahead, identify the problem statements, and then do an idea competition on these problem statements. Once you have ideas, great ideas, then you need to convert those great ideas into prototypes, POCs. You need to convert them into some quick and dirty product. So we said how you should do that. You should do something like an IPL. So every student actually should pitch why he needs to be part of the team which is developing that prototype, what he brings to the table, and not just take friends and, you know, or the favorite students to actually work on those prototypes. No, you should not do that. So we actually gave them some concrete methodology. Eventually, last year we got, and then we said you should submit the top 3 or top 4 of your projects to us, and we will look into it. So last year we got about 1,600 such projects, and out of which we scrutinized. We had 3 or 4 levels of scrutiny, out of which we eventually found about 40 projects which were good, and only maybe around 12, 13 projects which were really very good, I would say. When we started from 1,600, we actually found 10 to 12 projects which were of wow quality. Okay, we really felt that yes, this is something which is great. That's what we have made in our institutions. That's what the culture is. And you must have all realized from here we have to go. So each institute submitted their top 3. And when we looked at all the top 3 from all these various institutions, we got 1,600, out of which we eventually got 10 to 12, which was really wow. And we are funding them. So we are funding about 27. So out of this 40, we went through the round of screening for funding, which is viable, which could be what was their business plan and so on and so forth. And now we are funding 27 of them up to 10 lakh rupees to take these projects forward or convert them into a 2.0 and get incubated as startups into our incubators. So this is IICs, and currently I can tell you I'm very proud that in last 1.5 years through this IIC initiative, you will not believe we have done more than 21,000 programs, big and small. So these institutions have done based on our suggestions, 21,000 programs involving 26 lakh students and faculty together. This is simply unprecedented. Never such thing has happened. And because of our efforts, now we have seen the employability of students in last 3 years has gone up by about 7 to 8%. So when we actually did Smart India Hackathon, which is the third bucket, creating competitions so that students can compete, because till now all IITs and NITs were getting all the great national platforms, and our youngsters, 99% of our youngsters, which are in tier 2, tier 3 institutions, and undoubtedly I can tell you 10 to 15% students in most of the colleges are really good. They want to do something in their life. They want to actually showcase their talent, but unfortunately they don't get the platform. And many times the kind of students which we see in IITs are not very innovative or out of box thinkers. They are unfortunately there because they know how to crack JEE. It's not that they are very great or out of box thinkers or innovators. So we felt that we need to create a national platform to actually felicitate and that's where we started this Smart India Hackathon. It has become world's biggest hackathon, world's biggest open innovation model. And what we and the, the problem statement is very, very simple there. As I said, we have 80 lakh students in India who are just doing technology. And you will all agree with me that each student has to do a 6 months project in his 4 years of academic period. Hello? Academic period. So if you do back of the envelope calculation, if we just do back of the envelope calculation, the amount of energy which gets created or which gets invested is somewhere between 5 to 10 lakh person years per year. 10 lakh person years per year. It's time required for human evolution, and all it goes down the drain because large number of students do copy pasting, just control C and control V. Okay, so we felt that this needs to change, and we said students should work on projects which are really relevant for this country. So we went to various ministries, central government ministries, for railways, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, Department of Atomic Energy, Ministry of Road Transport, Ministry of Rural Development, Urban Development, and we asked them, what are your problem statements? Share with us top 10 problems, top 15 problems which you are facing. We collated all these problems and we used these problems to challenge students. After 4 editions now, as I said, Smart India Hackathon has become world's biggest hackathon. This year, we had 68,000 teams in first round at school, at college level. 68,000 teams. Each team has 6 students, out of which 1 girl is compulsory. 68,000 teams I'm talking about. Out of which, based on scrutiny, 10,000 came to us for national round, out of which we have selected about 1034 or something. So when we have our grand finale, which is now scheduled, which was scheduled in April, but now because of this COVID crisis, we had to move forward. We have now scheduled it in July. We will have 10,000 students working non-stop for 36 hours across maybe 48 cities in India. Something very, very phenomenal. And then we said we have to also, and many such other competitions like Ideathon, Samadhan, Grand Challenges we have done. And then the final is what is the outcome of these interventions which we are trying to do. And for that, for the first time ever, there is no such platform anywhere globally. We have started something called as Atal Innovation Ranking, ARIA, ARIIA. Atal Ranking of Institutions on Innovation Achievements. Okay, so we have started, and where we are now benchmarking institutions on their innovation index, because we need to improve innovation index of these institutions. And when we started last year, first year, none of the institutes, even IITs had the data which we were asking for. For example, how many startups came out of your institute? How many of your faculties are on the board of these startups? How many have SIN number? How many have DIN number? What kind of revenue your startups are generating? Which kind of project? Your projects are in which technology readiness level? Whether they are ready in 3 or 5 or 9, 8 or 9, give us that data. Then how much angel funding, VC funding you have raised? How much grants you have raised for product development? What kind of courses you are giving for promoting innovation and entrepreneurships? So we started asking such kind of questions. And I was very happy. I can tell you, large number of institutes struggled to get, but when we got the data, It was phenomenal. IIT Madras was the topper in national institutes, while Vellore Institute of Technology was topper in private institutions category. And when we saw the data, they actually were doing quite good work, but nobody bothered to compile that data. So President of India actually went ahead and announced that. And the framework is so unique that we are looking at inputs, processes, and output. Some of the international people only look at output. But if you start just looking at output, then large number of institutes may not have data. But when we are looking at inputs and processes, that they are doing efforts, they have put processes in place. And now slowly the data output will start coming out. It's a very, very unique framework, which we did. And so if you really see all these efforts which are happening, India has started doing well in Global Innovation Index. So I don't know how many of you will be aware, there is something like a Global Innovation Index, which is published by World Patent Organization, WIPO, in collaboration with Carnegie Mellon. Every year they publish which country is most innovative country. So in 2014, India's rank on Global Innovation Index was 81. 81. And now this year we are 52. So India has jumped, or India is the only country which has jumped massively in last 5 years from 81 to 52. But if you really ask whether 52 is a good rank for a country like India on Global Innovation Index, maybe no. China is 17th last year, and this year China is 12th. And the most innovative country is Switzerland, which is on top. So what China is doing right? And if China is 12, how can we be 52? And countries which are ahead of us, you might not have heard names of many of these countries. Malta, Estonia, Moldova, even Vietnam is ahead of us. Even Greece is ahead of us, which went bankrupt almost 3 years back. So we need to do far more. And if we have to do this, then MSME sector is going to play a very, very critical role. Not only innovating, because we need to create thousands of islands of innovations. And your role is going to be extremely critical, not only in developing products by yourself, but in grooming also the youngsters which are coming out of our system. And then if we do this together, then only we can think of this or dream of this $5 trillion economy in long term. Otherwise, I believe that it will be more of a nara, and we will not able to get there. So I hope I have shared with you some activities which we are trying to do. It has been 48 minutes now. I am talking. It's a huge monologue which has happened. So I will be more than happy to take questions, and we can continue the dialogue.
I request one by one to ask your questions, please.
Hello. Hi. Can I ask a question?
Please.
Hello.
Please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Go ahead, madam. Yes, go ahead, madam.
Good morning, Dr. Abhay. My
Yes.
name is Vandana Rungta, and I operate from Mumbai. And we are in connection with.
So I would like to first wish you great because Maharashtra Day today. You have Maharashtra Day, no?
Yes, sir, Dr. Abhay.
Just
Thank you so
विशेष
much.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We take great pride in it. So, Dr. Abhay, we work with thousands of entrepreneurs. While you are doing amazing work with the new talent that is coming up in from colleges and all, we work with a segment where entrepreneurs don't need funding. They are established entrepreneurs who have done some business but now have come up with some innovative solutions. Right at the top of my mind are two solutions which currently in COVID situation would be great help to everyone pan India. But then how do we reach these solutions across to the right people in the government so that they can take it up? They're not even looking at charging the government or anyone for it. They want to give it free for everyone to use, but we do not know the access points how to reach those solutions.
So, madam, you have asked an extremely relevant and good question, ma'am. Not you only, I am also getting a large number of phone calls from people across. Madam, you can go on mute now.
Yeah, sorry.
So I received large number of such phone calls and requests on how we should go about it. And so there are two aspects involved in this COVID thing. Large number of MSMEs are coming up with products like ventilators and so on and so forth, which require, these are biomedical devices at the end of the day. They require it requires a lot of testing for robustness, for reproducibility, and so on and so forth. Please go on mute. Please go on mute. Please go on mute. For reproducibility and things like that. So there are two aspects for it. I was talking to Principal Scientific Advisor to Prime Minister, Dr. Vijay Raghavan. So so there is a committee under leadership of Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor to Prime Minister, and Dr. Paul, who is member Niti Aayog Health, and they are looking at these solutions. And every day they are getting anywhere between 15 to 20 solutions. They personally are getting, which they are looking at. So when I was talking to him, he said many of the solutions are mechanically correct, but they not be relevant from a biological standpoint. So we need to test these kind of solutions for their robustness before we actually go ahead and implement and adopt in such time frame. So they are looking. So if you know, you can ask your innovators, right, to Dr. Vijay Raghavan.
There is someone who's not on mute. Would everyone go on mute, please?
Yeah, please. It's really creating a huge disturbance. I'm really sorry about it.
No, I think in next time you should put it in bold letters. All those people who join should immediately go on mute. I think people are also learning, and getting, they are still not very accustomed to technology, and they don't know. It's not that anyone is doing it on purpose. So I think it's a part, we will get there. So no issue.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Can I ask questions?
Yes,
Hello?
go ahead.
Yeah, this is Ashok Chakravarti. Hello, this is Ashok Chakravarti.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Ashokji, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today, very good session, sir. Why? Because it's a innovation and incubation. It's a guidance and it's how to utilize and carefully. It's a very good topic today. It's very thankful to, and as per my experience, so many people after education, after completing their education, in the while studying the education, they are missing some opportunities.
Ashokji,
They
ask the question. Ask the question.
will
What
not.
is your question?
Yeah. Actually, what is to you? Please, yeah, somebody. What my requesting? It is better to arrange a call center for the toll-free number, like a call center 24/7. Why? Because it is utilizing for unemployment people and students and schools, all type of people. It's mandatory, I think. What do you say, sir? Call center for 24/7.
Call center for what? To solve what?
Yeah, for any type of these question inquiries, MSME like guidance like this. guidance of MSME and increasing of how to
Okay, okay. This is your
getting
suggestion.
the things better.
So if please, all others, please go on mute. Uh, so what? So it's a good. So if I understand your question, that you
Hello.
want to have a call center
Hello.
for MSME. Wait, sir. Please wait, sir. You want to have a call center for helping out MSMEs in distress. That is what I understand what you are saying. Okay. So what I will
Yeah, that's
I will certainly pass on this message to MSME ministry. Mandeep Kaur, who is joint commissioner there, she's an IS officer, a very dynamic officer. You can also write to her. Mandeep Kaur is her name, and she may take up this kind of. But to be very honest, it is with MSME ministry. I work with MHRD ministry. So what I can do is that I can always pass on the message. Certainly.
yeah.
Good
Thank you.
morning, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Sridhar. Sir,
Uh,
I have a question to you. Sir, actually, persons belongs from other fields. Means if person is belongs from a civil engineering or other person belongs from electrical and electronics and some etc. The person who is having some innovative thought, that
hmm,
person wants to do it, but he
hmm,
needs a support from other engineering techniques. How
hmm.
he can be approached?
So it's a very good it's a very good question. And what I will
Yes, sir.
request you is that, see, there are large number of institutions, engineering colleges which are out there, which have
But they are
facilities.
not helping us, sir. I have already
Uh,
tried several times.
See, engineering
See,
institute
I'm
is one. I'm
respected,
coming
sir.
to it.
I'm from the FITD from Delhi. Okay, but I came out from more than 13 years. Now I don't have any contacts from there. But I have tried to develop the something which can be helpful for eco-friendly and as well as the
No, so
innovative
there are
sector for
large,
the India.
so there are large number of institutions, colleges, which are. I will give you multiple options what you can do. Okay, so that is one option where you can actually seek the facilities from college. That is one. More importantly, within the college also, it's important whom you talk to. So these large number of colleges have incubators now. Okay. And the primary job of these incubators is to incubate right ideas, incubate new ideas, and not just of students, but even outsiders who are coming up with the right kind of ideas. So if you approach the incubator manager, then he will actually able to help you and guide you on how you should take the idea forward and which could be the best incubator. So the incubator manager is the best person to actually help you in some of these aspects. Okay, and they
Sir,
will
my
also 1 minute, and they will also able to help you on getting funding from various government agencies, because these incubators are recognized to get funding also. Okay, go ahead.
Sir, my request is like that. Means, see, if it is a power turbine, I'm basically from civil and structural person. Okay, but it is a required a person who is the means electrical engineer and as well as a mechanical engineer. Okay, means I want to be means government has to be set up in a such an organization or such a supporting action so that we can wrote a means we can write a letter so that we are having a plan so that we can get it
That
implementation of that action.
that is what I'm telling you. See, you please don't just tell government to do things for your action. If you have an idea and if you want to work on that idea, you should go ahead and work on it on that idea in incubator. Okay, suggestions, if you want just to give suggestions, if you ask for suggestions, we get 50 lakh, 80 lakh suggestions. Okay, then it becomes very difficult. For example, I will tell you, when Narendra Modi ji, our honorable Prime Minister, started this MyGov platform, within 1 month, first 1 month, they received 60 lakh such suggestions. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. it became very difficult even for them for the team within MyGov to actually look at those suggestions also. So if you want to do something by yourself, then go it and do it by yourself. Okay,
Got it, sir.
let's go
Thank
for
you.
the next one. Let's go for the next question.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello,
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
sir.
hi.
I am Abhi Mozumdar. Sir,
Muzumdar ji, go ahead.
Yeah.
hello.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me, sir? This is Hari.
Yeah, sir, my name is Abir Mozumdar. I'm from Calcutta. I am working on ideas and innovation for the last 5-6 years.
Okay.
I have a startup which is called the Idea Factory, and I am also written a book on various ideas that I've given on the basis of what I've studied in the economy, newspapers, and things like that. So
Fantastic.
it's very interesting for me to see that innovation is such an important aspect, and I also have a startup which is working on that. Will it be possible for me to engage in select cases wherein I can send my book also, because a lot of ideas I think India has still not implemented. Some of ideas I've put in, but I have not been able to reach out to the government so far.
Certainly we can interact. You can follow me on social media. I am very active on Twitter. So my Twitter handle is Abhay Jere, together at the rate Abhay Jere, ABHAYGERE. I will request you all to come on Twitter and follow me. Give us our suggestions. We can have discussions also. Certainly, I will be more than happy to engage on some of the activities. So,
Thank
Hariji,
you so much.
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you,
I
sir.
was about to ask you a question, sir. I'm Hari. I'm a
Yeah.
robotics engineer basically by profession. I have an experience of working with more than 100 plus colleges engineering colleges in India. So I have been to a lot of institutions as well. And the basic question students keep on asking to me whenever I visit the colleges is they'll be having wonderful ideas. Basically, they'll be having a lot of ideas, I would say, which could not even be imaginable to us. And they are having innovative ideas, but they do not know what is the very next step they should go forward for. So what we
Very,
do basically is, yeah,
uh,
we ask them to come down from their location to our location, and it becomes difficult for them because they're students. They could not do on their own. So this has become difficult for students a lot of times. We have been
yes,
conducting
yes.
webinars, we have been conducting support sessions on site.
You have asked a very good question, Hariji. I
Yeah,
got your question. You have asked a very good question. I will tell you there are two things which we are doing to solve this problem. Okay. First, as you rightly said, when they have idea, the students don't know what to do next, where to go, whom to ask for guidance. Okay. And what happens if they go many times to these faculty members? The faculty actually end up killing that idea. Say, why they're telling, why you want to get into all this? Just focus on your studies. You are not scoring good, and they give that sermon. Okay. We said this needs to change. So now I am currently trying to train 6,000 faculties as innovation ambassadors within these colleges. So we have already completed training of 2,300 before the COVID crisis, and now we are going to reinitiate this training in first week of June. So what we are trying to do is that every college we are trying to train 4 faculty members, 1 faculty member in IIPR, 1 faculty member in design thinking, 1 faculty member in what is pre-incubation, incubation, how to handle an idea. Okay. And then 1 faculty member on business plan development and market research. Okay. These things are very, very critical. And why we are training 4 faculties within an organization is because if we train 1 faculty, then all the other faculties gang up against that faculty and actually isolate him. So we felt that there has to be some critical mass. So we decided we will train 4 faculties, and then we will train 1 faculty in each, so that they have to also work together. Okay, they should not work in isolation. So that kind of program we have already started. which we are calling as innovation ambassadors, which we are actually giving them a badges, which they can wear on their shirt or coat, calling AICD MHRD Innovation Ambassador.
That's
So
really
that
nice, sir. Sorry to interrupt, sir. Actually, because when it comes to this particular idea, I think that there should be a interaction with the industry experts as well. Because only
so
when
that
you're
is
going
step
with
two.
college,
That is
yeah.
step two. That is step two. The first step is to give the student that confidence that we know what we are talking and we are ready to help you in every possible way. So that's very important. So I can go for next question if I have answered your Hari.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kusum Kanwar, and I'm from Mumbai. And I'm really very, I'm so inspired when you talk about education system is just a swallow and vomit system. I'm a principal of a K-12 school, and I also have a small school myself. So that's how I'm an entrepreneur, and I understand both the sides. Now, sir, how do we, there are schools with international curriculums, with design thinking, and with ideas and these kind of subjects embedded in their curriculum. So they also become the 1% that is the IITs of India. So there are these 98, 99% students who are not exposed to any design thinking or any progressive idea. So how can we take it to these schools, because you're also connected with education, and this is the best way where you can give us some ideas where I can actually go to schools and talk about it. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, ma'am. You have asked again a very good question. So ma'am, I will be very honest with you. This is a cultural shift which has to happen, and it's not going to happen in one day. What we are trying to do is a cultural shift. Okay, you will understand what I'm trying to say. So it needs to be accepted by college, schools, teachers, students, and even parents also. Because many times when you look at these schools, who are in race, students are not in race, parents are in race, and then teachers. And many times the biggest bottleneck, as I said, for killing ideas or where the ideas get killed are parents and teachers, which are getting killing ideas. But having said this, large number of schools have started working on this, and we should appreciate that work. Like what you said. Even Maharashtra board schools or state board schools have also started working. It's not just international schools which have started working. Recently, Persistent Systems actually went ahead and organized school hackathons for school kids. Then there are a lot of scratch competitions which are happening, coding competitions which are happening for students. But what I will actually request all schools to do eventually is allow your kids to think wild. So most important stress should be on idea competitions and converting that idea then into something which is workable. Okay, so we actually had proposed, when I was working for Maharashtra, in Maharashtra, I had proposed Maha Idea competition for schools from 5th standard to 12th standard. What we were saying, that 5th to 8th standard, students should think wide. And they should able to just jot down on paper how their idea is feasible. Okay, then 9 to 12th standard, again they should think wide, and on paper they have to be far more what we can say elaborate on showing that their idea is workable. Okay, and if prototype is there, if they have a prototype ready, then it will be something very great. And UG, PG, PhD, which was the third group, your prototype has to be ready. So what we really need to do for our schools, that we need to sensitize them that new ideas are great. New ideas need to be handheld, appreciated, celebrated, felicitated, and so on and so forth. And once that culture gets integrated, then all the schools and colleges, teachers, professors will start following that track. And suddenly you will see large number of great ideas coming out.
Thank you, sir. That's really nice. And if there is some sort of a communication from the ministry that this needs to get into the system or culture of the school, it helps.
So new education policy will certainly talk about all these things. New education policy has a huge emphasis on this. It will certainly talk about all this. Now, Niti Aayog has already established about 5,000 tinkering labs. They're aiming for 10,000 tinkering labs. And one of the reason for tinkering labs is to actually do it yourself kind of a culture which we want to promote. See, these are cultural shifts which are, these are tectonic shifts in that sense, which need to happen. They are going to take time, but people are now getting exposed to it. 5 years back, there was no such exposure, right? Now there is an exposure. It will happen, and we should allow it to evolve also. And this COVID crisis now, see, with this COVID crisis now, every school has gone digital, right? They are using Zoom, they are using WebEx. So people are adopting. Youngsters are extremely resilient. They are digital natives. So if you actually give them that opportunity to showcase their ideas, they will actually come up with the ideas. The thing is opportunity, which needs to be given at every level. Okay, maybe we'll take next question.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon,
Actually,
sir. My
I
name
belong
is Rajshri Shukla. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Rajshri Shukla. I wanted to ask you if you are encouraging open innovations, some kind of a collaborative project between the industry and academia, wherein, the students can take up real world problems of the
Capstone
small and
projects.
micro enterprises. I
Right.
speak on behalf of the small and micro only, not medium. Medium can afford to, go to the IITs and all. But the smaller ones, their problems get
not only
ignored by the technical institutes.
Rajeshri ji,
Yeah.
I got your not only small and micro. We are talking also about NGO sector. Okay.
Right.
NGO sector also requires large number of solutions, digital transformations, which need to happen. And who can do that? These are the college youngsters which can do it. And that's the reason we have made this internship policy, where we have made internship mandatory for each and every student. And that's where we are telling students, wherever we are going, we are telling students that please don't chase big brands. You will not learn anything there. We are telling them this very explicitly. Go to NGO sectors, go to small enterprises, MSME, so that you will work with your hand. It is a small team of 3, 4, 5, 10 people. You will interact, you will understand the systems, you will actually able to do a change. You will actually able to bring in a change there. You will also learn, and you will also help them change. So we are promoting this very aggressively. And now, not even that, in our internship policy, we are even acknowledging internships if they have gone to villages. If students says, I'm going to go in a particular village and I'm going to design a map, sanitation system for that village, we are saying, go ahead, do it. We will accept that as your internship.
Right.
So that's where there are. So on one side, we have, as I said, 80 lakh students. So millions of students on one side we have. There are millions of problems on other side which we need to solve. We need to ensure that they come together,
That's right.
And
I'm currently writing a book on open innovations, and I have very few examples from India to work on. So I was wondering if there are
open
there could be
innovation.
many
As I
more
said,
such open.
Smart India Hackathon is one of the biggest open innovation model in the world. You should study that.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So next question.
Hello. Abhay, we were interrupted. What you said about my question about rolling out which need bio mandate, that is acceptable, but there are some solutions. I want to talk concrete here because this may help the entire country as a whole. There is one ex CFO of FTI. They are not looking. They want to give it free. Which promotes contactless registration. So today, anyone going to a building, a complex or something, they need to write with a diary and a pen, and which will promote.
I got you, madam. I will tell you what's happened. Please understand, madam. We in India, we have 1.3 billion people. Yeah? So there are large number of these solutions, similar solutions are actually coming. And please understand, even if we get few lakhs, it becomes extremely difficult at a ministry level to actually segregate and look at which solution is good and which solution is bad. And because for that, to ensure that that thing is done in a very systematic fashion, there are a lot of systematic competitions which are happening. So a systematic framework could be put in analyzing these solutions. MyGov is coming. If you go to MyGov, there are such competitions which are going on. And anyone with an innovative solution can submit. Even there is a competition for women who are coming up with innovative ideas. We actually did something called as Ideathon and Samadhan. We got 5,000 solutions, out of which we eventually. So please understand that the solution which you think is unique, but there are many such people who are simultaneously thinking of creating these unique solutions. So when they come to a bucket, then it becomes easy for us to analyze.
So can we create four such buckets? Where
you don't need to create. You just go to MyGov. They have already created it. You go to MyGov.
Four such buckets wherein one, the solution is ready to roll out. Two, where funding is required. Three, where it's at the ideating stage.
No. We don't get into whether funding required, not funding required, and so on and so forth. If the idea is good, then it needs to be taken forward, irrespective whether required funding or not required funding. Okay. So just go to MyGov, check that. Okay. Our Samadhan actually ended a day before yesterday. It was a huge initiative which the minister himself launched.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
This is Vineet. I'm from Hyderabad, but I basically from Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. And it's good to see you on this position as well. And happy Maharashtra Day to you as well.
Thank you very much. Happy Maharashtra Day to you.
Coming to the
I cannot
question, sir. Yeah. So if we talk about the idea and patent, it's really a big and huge topic. But on coming to the patent side, am I audible now? Hello, am I audible now, sir? Yeah.
Go ahead,
so coming to the question, sir, for the patent, for the patent, I mean, if you look up the filing processing, the patent, it's a little bit complicated, and it required huge documentation, and we say that. Yeah, very complicated, and it required a huge amount as well as a fees for filing the patent. So it's if we see the nation like India, it's really tough to get such kind of people to file the patent in those number of when we compare to China or the US. So government do have any kind of plan to make it with ACE?
Yes. So first, filing patent is not so expensive. It will cost you about 8,000, anywhere between 8,000 to 20,000 for filing a patent. The problem is patent attorney or the cost of that person is very high, and it can be anywhere between 5,000 to 5 lakh, depending upon how much, right? The patent attorney or the patent, but the government charges are not so high. Okay. Yes, but I still agree that it can cost anywhere between 20-25,000 if you want to get into a fast track process. So we are actually, Prime Minister was going to announce India National IP Literacy Initiative. We have proposed that before this COVID crisis, but now again it has got on back burner. We hope that soon this initiative will get announced, and we will be actually giving some financial incentives as part of National IP Literacy Initiative. But again, I don't know, because some of these things now economy stress is different, and so before that it was actually certainly there. Apart from that, Ministry of Science and Technology has trained 5,000 women who are housewives eventually, and they want to get and again start earning on patent writing and those kind of things. So if and they charge minimal. So if you know some of them within your vicinity, the list is out there on DST's website. If you really look at, you can contact any of these trained women in your vicinity and seek her help in patent filing. So that has already been done.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I'm Amit Madan from Amritsar, Punjab.
I think, Madam, Sandhya Madam, how many questions we are taking?
Sir, it's your wish, sir.
No, I think last two.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, okay. Participants, we have two. We can take two more questions, please. Okay, the
sure.
one who is talking and
three.
one more. Three.
We can conclude at 12:30. Okay. So
okay,
9 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Right, sir.
Go ahead.
So my question is, as we are compiling up all the things, like all the sectors also from where we are getting innovations from, but one small sector I think we are missing out. That is, there are some people or some certain group of persons who are not even basically they have some language bar. Like they are not able to understand English. Like right now, this topic is also going on in English. Do we have some kind of model so that those kind of persons may also join us or coordinate with us?
You have asked extremely good question, and we are internally talking about this a lot. You know, ideas can come from anywhere, as you rightly said.
Exactly.
And we and ideas can come from a person who need not know English. You know, English just a language for communication. It has no indication towards good brain or innovative mindset, right? So yes, yeah. So I completely understand what you are saying. We are internally very, very sensitive towards it, and whenever we are talking through our channels for IICs or through our various other initiatives, we are actually trying to identify someone who can help these kind of innovations. But I will tell you, currently we are working with higher education institutes, mostly technical education institutes. But within technical institutions also, when we speak to large number of youngsters in interior, they have very good brain, you know, their power of understanding, but their communications are pretty weak, you know. So at that time, what we try to do is ask some professor or someone to actually get associated with him, help him, write the script for him, or even in translate things what he is saying for judges and evaluators to understand. Okay, so that's what we are certainly doing. When we are looking at national level, we are looking either at Hindi or English as method of communication, because we also don't know. I come from Maharashtra. I cannot understand Tamil, Telugu, or Kannada or any other language. But we are sensitive towards all this, and we believe so many times. So for the first year hackathon which we did, actually the winner of Smart India hackathon was a person from Kerala. He was from a village side. Means he was a youngster from a village side who won, and he couldn't speak a single word of English. Okay, but he was the winner. So yes, what you say makes sense, and we need to create systems which are sensitive towards this. I agree with you.
But I'm sorry to ask also, like this session also we are going this session in English only, and most of the students also, they have language bar here in Punjab. Hello.
As I said, this is an all India session. This is an all India session. See, if I do it in Hindi, so first, my Hindi is not so great because I come from Maharashtra. But even if I have to do it in Hindi, large number of people from South will not understand it. Nah? So at the end of the day, you have to use language where all people will understand. Knowledge is more important. Gyan ज़्यादा important है. बराबर है ना?
So, one more innovation is needed into this sector also now.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. What next? Any other question?
Yes, sir. This is Roshan here from Bangalore, sir. Good morning.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good,
How are you,
Roshan.
sir?
Good morning.
All right. So, I don't know if you remember, I have been part of Smart India Hackathon for last 3 years. We have also
Thank you.
spoken, as been mentor also, so we have spoken earlier. Anyways, the question basically is, yesterday, as you specified, our Honorable Minister Nitin sir has launched the MSME portal for the Ideas portal, right? And just want to know what is that we see in the future for that, and who are the people who are going to see, and what kind of exposure the ideas which we are going to put there is going to get, and how we are going to see the feedback of those ideas.
Which ideas you are talking? Nitin Gadkari
So
has launched.
Yes, yesterday the portal which has been launched for ideas.
So MSME sector is see, unfortunately, government is very big. It's a very big, bulky elephant. So if they have launched, they must have certainly put some system in place. I am really not aware, but you can always talk to Mandeep Kaur. She's, as I said, joint secretary at joint commissioner. She's the joint secretary level person in MSME sector to know who is going to evaluate. But they also have large number of funding to actually give to potential startups which are coming up. They want to do, because I have been interacting them, they're very sincere. They want to actually help great ideas. So irrespective of who is going to evaluate and so on and so forth, don't worry about it. Just go and enter your ideas into that context. I can tell you currently the systems are extremely transparent.
So when are we going to hear any feedback on those ideas and how?
To be very honest with you, I don't know about that competition very specific. All the timetable must be given on the website. Huh? Just check their website, because every ministry is doing. See, there are 60-70 ministries which are out there. Now every ministry is doing something.
Right, sir. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, madam.
I'm Bhagyalakshmi here from Bangalore.
Yes, madam. Bhagyalakshmi ji.
It's really nice to know that our education, it's really nice to know that our education system is being revamped, because I feel there's a major disconnect between what is being taught in the schools and colleges and what is actually expected in the job world outside. So I'm very happy to hear that there are many changes happening there. And coming back to our businesses, post-COVID, the industries which relied solely on direct distribution, like on an everyday basis, where the product has to be reached to the customer, that has been impacted very badly. And also industries which relied on exhibitions and carnivals and all that for promoting their product, they have also been impacted very badly. So what do you think the future is?
So event management, I completely agree. Event management industry has been affected. Hotel industry has been affected severely. Aviation industry has affected severely. And yes, for next 1 year, I think because of the social distancing norms, which will continue, although life starts, there will be may not be many conferences and seminars which will be happening. Unfortunately, that's the reality. What I will suggest is we really need to come up with a model of organizing better seminars online to actually cope up with the current problem. But yes, I don't know whether there is a very easy solution for this problem which you are highlighting. because that industry is going to take a huge hit. Large number of now things are moving online, because see, otherwise this would have been a one-on-one interaction, right, or an in-person conference, but now we are doing it online, right? So a lot of things are going to move digital, but there are going to be opportunities in that. This is the problem which we have to solve, right? And how we are going to solve this problem. For example, if I go to conferences, there are two reasons why I go to a conference. One is to talk, and then is to network. Now talking is happening here,
yes,
but networking is not happening.
True.
Right? Huh? So
Correct.
what is the best way
Not
to
that
network?
effective.
No, there is no networking absolutely happening here. So with what kind of solutions could be there to actually enhance the networking aspect of online? Whether we get in holograms or virtual reality, or what kind of things can be done, you know, those kind of startups, those kind of ideas will be very relevant in future.
Great. Thank you so
I know
much.
I have not answered your question but I don't really don't know whether
to some
I have a
extent,
good answer.
yeah. We have to think further on how to improve upon this situation right now, I guess.
Yes. But it's a very tough situation, and large number of
Tough, yes.
youngsters are associated with this industry. We completely understand.
True. Thank you.
Thank you. So last question. I think we are done.
Okay, sir.
So Sandhya, any concluding remarks, or we can just log out?
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. It was really an excellent session, and you are very patient enough to take all our participants' questions, sir. Thank you so much. We got a lot of answers for a lot of the questions. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the great session. Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. I will request you all again to follow me on Twitter, so that together we can build this community. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Namaskar, sir. Jai Hind.